Babbles. This is Juni, and he wants to say a special hello to Kelly from I'm Yarn Inspired's Little Kids. Hey everybody! Because he's now their friend. So, there you go. This is Naguni, who is Nagini's slightly odd cousin, because he has a funky little mouth. There you go. Just a little something to kick off the podcast. Look how cute! It's so soft. This is a cashmere jumper I recycled from a secondhand shop. Anyway, we have a very packed show today, everybody. Very packed. Let me introduce myself. I am Grace. You can find me on Instagram, Ravelry and Periscope as Vanna Willamille. I'll pop it down here. It's a little tricky to spell because my younger self was a little bit ambitious with my naming skills. And this is my little podcast about knitting, now spinning, quite a lot of spinning, and some drawing, some crafting, some bits and bobbing. So, I have so many things to say. I didn't podcast last week because I wasn't feeling very well, but I really should have because it would have made this a lot shorter. Let's just jump straight into it. I'm going to talk about, we'll get the knitting out of the way. So I'll just get the knitting out of the way. I'm going to talk about some FOs, some whips, maybe some dreams of knitting. And then I'm going to talk about my spinning adventures, where I got my spinning wheel, which involves a little bit of a shop tour of the beautiful Convent and Chapel wool shop, which happened last weekend. I met the wonderful, beautiful Jocelyn. And then this week I went to a fibre festival, which was the New South Wales Knitters Guild Fibre Fest in Singleton in Hunter Valley, which is the big wine producing region. And I went there yesterday with my lovely friend Tina, and I met some fabulous people there as well. I am going to be talking about some of the things I bought, some of the companies that I discovered during that, and I'm also going to be mentioning a very important event which is happening through the month of October all over the world. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so I'm going to be talking a little bit about that at the end of the podcast. First of all, a giveaway of my sketch along. I should have also done this last week because the thread closed on the 30th. I actually ended up closing it on the 4th because I'm a fool. But I have a winner, and I got the random number generator just before I started this podcast, and it's Linda, who is Boblin, I think. Yes, I can't remember your Instagram name or Ravelry name, Linda, but literally I'm going to be seeing her on Thursday. So I'll give you your present on Thursday. You won. Yay! So yeah, it was number 17 that came up on the number, on the random number generator. Oh no, 16. Sorry, 16. I am so bad at numbers. Number 16, and that was Linda. So I'm really delighted that she won that. And that's my little giveaway. And we've got a couple of things coming up in the future. We, myself and Fatima from the Knit Knacker podcast might be cooking up something for the new year, because it's not that far away, everybody, and it's going to involve everyone across the whole world, hopefully. I actually have a request of anybody. I am looking for podcasters in South America. Now, I have contacted Joji Locatelli, but she is on holidays and also a very busy lady. So I assume that she's very, very busy and doesn't have time for a tiny little podcast like me. So if anybody else has a podcast in South America, knows of one, please get in touch with me. Leave a message down below. I'm fascinated because, I mean, they have Manos del Uruguay down there. They have incredible Peruvian like wool and Andean wool, and there's an incredible fiber in South America, and I need podcasts down there. Get on it. Okay. that's my admin, I believe. Ooh, yes. Yes. Okay. So there is something very special that happened with my most recent no, not my most recent FO. I have 3 FOs, everybody. Like weeks and weeks of no FOs, and I have 3 at once. That's what knitting everything together does, doesn't it? You get loads of FOs all at once, so this is exciting. So the first one I'm going to show you is my Juni cardigan. But first, I did a little video of the steeking process, and I did it at my friend's house, Tina's house, at knit night at hers on a couple of Thursdays ago. Was it last Thursday or the Thursday before? But it was nerve-wracking. But I was so glad to have them there to film, because I couldn't have been able to set it up to film it myself. But also it was genius because Anna Maltz, the sweater spotter on Instagram, when I went to her class on colourwork, winging it from the top down colourwork sweaters, I asked her advice on steeking, and she said to pick up the button bands on either side of the steek before you cut it and knit those, because you're going to have really nice tension then. They're going to be all like the same, because you won't be flapping around and trying to do that. And also, what I didn't realise was when we were cutting, you could hold onto the button bands, and it just gave you this like perfect handhold. So if someone held it on one side and I came up and cut on the other side, you'll see. Enjoy.
I just don't even get it.
Steeking time, everybody.
Yeah, I want it. So I didn't find something nice enough.
I've got amazing people around me to help me.
And we're
gonna do this. So nice. Okay, right. Let's get in on this. This is easy. This is easy. This is easy. Okay.
Peanut buttery, chocolatey.
Oh God. Oh my God. You can do it. This will take forever. Why did I knit it so long? It's not doing anything.
Maybe try keeping the scissors in there. Don't like take them away each time. Yeah, just do like little snips.
Yeah, yeah. Oh God. No, everything's fine. It's like wonder. I'm never ever purling again. Never ever purling. Oh, thanks, Pat. Extra child noise. Oh, those button bands are handy little handles, aren't they? Thank you, animals. I know, it's like the perfect atmos. Oh my God. I will actually be able to wear this properly in a very short period of time. Just bring it closer to me. Thank you, guys. He's like, I can sense this tension. These scissors are amazing.
They're really sharp.
Oh, they're brilliant. Are they like dressmaker scissors?
Little embroidery.
They're amazing. Can't believe this isn't falling apart. It's like a miracle.
How many stitches are between the...
Just one. It's actually just the bridge of the main center stitch.
It's just a bar.
Yeah, it's just a bar.
Look how neat that crochet is.
Thanks.
Grace is going to be a surgeon.
Yeah. I think I should go back and do another degree.
Yeah.
I need to put it on right now! It's all gonna fall apart.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm sweating.
I'm literally, the sweat is coming off me. Does it fit? Does it fit? I need to do the thing properly. It's perfect. It's a cardigan. How amazing! Show us the back. Show us the back.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I have no idea what you're owing at. I can't.
The owls.
I'm so glad I'm filming
It
this.
fits you perfectly. It's beautiful. Well done, Grace.
That was so exciting! I cannot believe it worked. I cannot believe it worked. I'm going to show you. So I picked up the collar then, and I knit the collar. Ooh, look at that. That's so pretty. And I picked up some buttons from the House of Wool, which is a little shop in the Blue Mountains, I believe. I can't remember the town. I'll put the town and the details in the show notes. But I got these beautiful, oh no, it wasn't in the House of Wool, it was the shop next door to it. Very nice little brown buttons, and they just suit the cardigan so well, you know. And I picked up around the button band, just knit a little garter ridge. But I'll show you the inside, and I'll stop that clinging. This is the steeked edge. It is so immaculate. Immaculate. You cannot see. I don't want to blow anything out, but you can't see a single, like, nothing's unraveling, nothing's popping out. I'm never, ever, ever, ever purling again. Unless it's like a cardigan that doesn't close all the way across, because it's difficult to get that right. Sorry, my hair is extremely long and annoying me, but I thought I should leave it down because I look ridiculous with it up a little bit. I look nice, and I want to look nice for the podcast, don't I? But, oh look, it's so cute. Oh, just hide down here. And it just folds flat behind the button band. So the button band was already knit, and I just held the button band, and it just folds down flat. So wonderful. I used a very tiny little hook. I used that's only a 3.5 millimeter actually. It's not that small. I knit the rest of the garment in a 4 millimeter, and I just used a finer thread, and I really like the thread, the fibre that I used. I bought this in Bangkok. Like, I still have loads of it around. I made a hat out of it that I don't even know where it is, but I love it. And do you want to see it on? Let's zoom out. Whee! high tech editing going on here. Now, so, oh, that's pretty good. I've my, these are my pajamas. They're really nice. I love them. I just wear them all the time. Thanks, Mommy. I love it so much. I should really close it, but, you know, and this is the owl detail. Can you see? If you can see. It's so pretty. I can't believe I didn't put on proper trousers for this. This is the podcast that you've come to, everybody. Now, question this situation here. Little underarm, chubby situation. What did I do wrong? I find it difficult to follow patterns exactly. My mind wanders and I just end up off the blah. But I have a feeling I picked up 2 little stitches here. Maybe. You know, if I picked up some more stitches, it wouldn't be so tight. But I wanted it to, I don't know. I was afraid it would be way too big. And I'm wondering, is it just because I need to put it down at the back, and then if I close it, it's still kind of there. But if I have extremely good posture and I pull my shoulders back, those kind of lines kind of go. But I'm in love with short row shaping for the bust, though, because there's no gaping. Look at that. Sorry. There's no gaping down here. It's just perfect, and it's extremely fitted. which I love. And I've never done buttonholes before. And it's just so simple. It was just a knit two together, yarn over SSK, I believe. Yeah. Schlinky. It's a little bit bodycon-y, but it's supposed to be, I believe. And my hair is ridiculously long. Can't see myself. So if I wear it like this, I can't have my shoulders forward. I have to like be like this, be like, oh, good posture. And even then, it still kind of does the bunchy thing. What did I do? And this is blocked, and I blocked it quite hard. I left it all like over the weekend that we were away up in Milestones. So I just don't know. Not sure about this short row shaping, because it's like, you know, it decreases immediately there, every 2 stitches there, every 3 stitches there, every 4 stitches here, you know, so maybe it's just this yoke that I don't like. However, oh, this was knit with Bendigo Willow Mills Savannah, and it's 30% alpaca, which means it's super itchy, so I'm mind over matter at the moment. However, in the cold winters of Ireland, when I'm back in Ireland and I have long tops underneath this, it's going to be wonderful. Apparently, it's just hot. It's just itchy because it's hot. I don't believe you. I think it's itchy all the time. But that's just me. I have a very sensitive skin. I'm a delicate flower, you know. But the wool was very, very decently priced. And I think it was good to try to do the steeking and sort of figuring out my first cardigan and everything with wool that wasn't the most expensive in the world. And now I know it works, I can invest. So that's fun. So that's Juni. Good old Juni, huh? Ooh. I need to wear like white underneath this, because otherwise the owls don't show, don't they? Maybe I'll just hang it up so those owls show up in the sunlight. No, isn't that just stunning? I'm so proud of myself. Okay. And Linda and Tina helped me cut this up. Linda did the filming. No, was it? Was it Linda? Did you do the filming? And then Tina did the holding. This is as much yours as mine. Anyway, there's Ginny. Ginny's cardigan, and it's in the book Knitting Wizardry, or the unofficial Harry Potter knits. Yes. Everybody tends to know that one. Oh! I literally have just sewed in the ends on this. It's not blocked, it's not anything. So this is the, oh gosh, I keep getting this name wrong. I'll put it down below, but it's a year-round cardigan, or the year-long cardigan, or all-year cardigan. I don't know. But I knit this out of a mystery wool. No, it's not mystery, but it's a, don't know exactly what type of sheep. Oh, this is like so much nicer to wear than the alpaca. So this is just a plain, I should really do this again without the thing, but there it is. And it's such a beautiful color. Beautiful color. I did a seed stitch border around the cuffs, around the collar, and the bottom. Seed stitch, so it lies nice and flat. And I literally had about this much wool left, like not even 3 grams. I was measuring the whole time. And then I got to about here and I was like, I'm so sick of sleeves. Because I did one down to about there, and then I left it on the cable. And then I started doing the second one, the slightly shorter cable, and then I was like, oh, are they the same yet? So, and then I joined for the cuffs and knit the cuffs the exact same length. So the sleeves might be a row or 2 out, but whatevs. I haven't blocked this yet, so I'm going to block this after the podcast. But this thing is happening again. Is this just a thing that just happens? Like, flabby, armpit situation. I don't like it. What's that about? I mean, everyone say, oh, it'll block out, it'll block out. Like, I wanted to do that. Don't know. What am I doing wrong? And I have a feeling that the reason that this one is a bit funny is that I picked up every stitch across the top, and then I don't know if you remember me telling you, but I slipped the edge stitches here on this cardigan to make it easier to pick up the stitches. So I don't know if you can see, but these stitches here are all slip stitches. So effectively, one of these stitches is 2 of the main body. It doesn't say to do that on the pattern. Thought I was being super smart. I think I wasn't. And then I picked up all of these stitches, but effectively that's half the stitches of the body, isn't it? So the front is kind of pulling up a little bit, and it might block out, but front is kind of pulling up a little bit, like whoop. And it's pouching slightly. But you know what? I got the wool for $40 from a lady who was selling off her mother's yarn stash to fund her daughter's treatment or something, her child's treatment for cancer. And it wasn't very expensive. And it's actually really cozy. I think I'm going to keep it on. I do need to reinforce the neck. I've been watching Shannon of Socksetra, watching Shannon and her fabulous friend Lufa, and I'm definitely going to do the crochet thing, or I might do a ribbon thing. I feel like I picked up too much stitches across the collar, so it's kind of pouching there. If you see, pouching is my favorite word right now, but it's effectively what's happening. See, that collar is just not tight enough, and I did go down a needle size on this. I went from a 5 to a 4.5, and then I managed to lose the needle. So annoyed at myself. Still haven't found it, Tina. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure. I'll just buy another one. Anyway, so I finished this yesterday at the Fibre Festival, and I finished the needle, finished everything, bound off, and then I was like, yay! And we're thinking that, like, there was a huge group of people around. I saw the needle just beside me, and we're thinking maybe like I threw it away in excitement. But then we looked everywhere. Maybe it might have accidentally fallen into someone's bag who left before I noticed that it was missing. So if anybody from the Knitting Guild finds a spare Haya 4.5 interchangeable set or interchangeable needle, that's mine. Could you get in contact with me and send it back to me, because I need it. So annoying. Oh, these things happen. I'm sorry, I'm hitting the table, causing earthquakes. Right. Okay, move on. There's so much more to show you. Okay, I'm going to keep this on. I finished my socks. I finished my Hermione's Everyday Socks, and I haven't worn them because I wanted to show them on the podcast, but I finished them before the last podcast. And I've not worn these. I love you guys, obviously. The stress of this. I do 2 of them because I do 2 at a time. So that's Hermione's on the front. This is Bakery Bear's Cottage Yarn, which this was one of the Patreon updates, and she's actually having updates for everybody else as well. So keep an eye out. She was saying on the Patreon only podcast that the way that this dye kind of stripes or swirls is actually intended. It's an intended dye job because it just reminds her of like ripples in the water, and I'm like, how did you do that, you genius? This is Kay, of course. So I was like, oh, so perfect. So the back is plain, so this is how the yarn knits up, plain, and it's kind of, I don't want to blow it out with the sunshine, so it's, I don't know how to show it. And oh, these little reds. It's so pretty. It's the prettiest darn thing you ever did see. Anyway, I'm in love with them. Little fish lips kiss heels. I have to do that every time I show it. It's an addiction. So I'm going to wear these right now. Very nice. Okay, now, so I have a number of whips that I'm still on the go, but I haven't done anything with because I've been busy finishing this thing all day yesterday. I started a sock, just a plain sock. I haven't really, not really sure about it so far. I've literally just started the first cuff. So I've decided just to do the cuffs separately and then join them because I've been having fun times trying to figure out where they start. So on 2 at a time socks, I tried to, well, originally I tried to start one and then like cast on, say, 60 stitches for one sock and then cast on 60 stitches for the same sock on the same needle, and then I would fold them and then start knitting in the round. So the round would start in the center of both, in the center of the both socks, which sometimes can be a little bit faffy because I don't know, I just like starting it from one side and then going around, you know, around the both socks each side and then starting again. So if you're doing a pattern or something. So I want to do that with this, so I decided to do the cuffs separately and then join them. And I'm going to use this Regia design line, Arnie and Carlos. I'm not sure who yet. They're going to be like a Christmas present sock. I'm doing them my big man size because all the men in my life are very tall men with big freaking feet. Maybe that's why I'm not so enamored with these, but I'm going to do like a vanilla latte type pattern, which is just kind of a wide rib pattern, so that it'll kind of have a little bit of give and a little bit more sizing for when I decide who these are for. Possibly my brother, because he's hosting us all for Christmas, so I really desperately do need to make him something. Yeah, so they are in this beautiful bag that was sent to me by Carmen. Thanks, Carmen. I literally love this bag. Oh, so yeah, I've been, these are all my little, I haven't got any more pins, but this is my new favorite one. It's animals, and also the I love the NHS badge. I love the NHS. No matter what they say about you, NHS, the idea of you is just so wonderful. Anyway, politics aside, next. Okay, so technically I have, oh yes, let's do this. So Fatima from the Knit Knacker Natters podcast is doing a to be or not to be cal, which is basically anything to do with bees. I love bees. Bees are the best thing on earth because without them we would not survive. This is my little bee. This is going to be little bee face. This is little bee bottom. I've just sewn in the bee bottom. Little bee bottom. This is my first amigurumi attempt, and it's for one of the yarn stores at the Granny Square in Newtown. She is, I just went in the other day and I was like, listen, if you want any testers, if you want me to knit any swatches or any samples or anything, like, I'm up for it. And what she does is she does swaps. So if you knit her something and she uses it in the shop, you can get some yarn for that, for your time, you know. So I started off with one of these little bees because I really wanted to join Fatima's bee cal, to be or not to be. That's the hashtag. So I just like swishing it. I filled it with some of my waste yarn or waste fluff, which is such a great use for stuffing. Squish, squish. So this, I just, when I was waiting for some things to pass, I just did a little wing. Such a small little wing for a big bee. I'm just using some plain old acrylic. Chips. So cute. So yeah, you should pop over there and have a look. There's some lovely stuff going on there. So at last Thursday, I popped into town, and I was at lunchtime, so I was working in the hospital, which is quite close to Newtown. And I was just walking around, and I just happened to wander into the Granny Square. And there was like a big, there was a knitting clinic going on every Thursday in the Granny Square in Newtown in Sydney. There is a knitting clinic, and you pop in there, and there's a woman there who's able to answer every single one of your knitting questions. I popped in, and I wasn't able to stay very long because I was just on my lunch break, but friend Tina was there. Keep popping into you, Tina. So that was amazing. And I popped up to Tal, and I was going to mention the bee, you know. Oh, sorry. It's all gone. I'm smacking myself in the face with little amigurumis. Yes, so she turns around and she goes, I was about to call you. I've got a pattern I'd like you to try and have a look at and see if you'd like to do for me. And I was like, yes. Yes. So she comes out with this gigantic bag of wool and a pattern. She was like, could you do this? I was like, I don't understand. Are you just giving me this? Are you just giving me the yarn to make a pattern and the pattern? You're giving me the whole thing for free. She's like, yes, yeah. And I like, you know, there's no rush, there's no worries, like, you know, month, 2 months, whatever. I was like, and she was like, and when you bring it back, then we can do like a, you know, we'll see what we can do. I was like, oh my gosh. So I've done a swatch. I know, gauge smage. Now I've realized that I think I'm a little bit of a hypocrite because I tell other people gauge doesn't matter, and yet I do all the gauge swatches. The only one I didn't do a gauge swatch for is this bad boy. See the way it's kind of coming off the shoulders? I definitely need to do reinforcement, but I will. So I did a gauge swatch. So this is their new line that's coming out. It's a 5-ply, Inez 5-ply, and it's 70% wool, 20% alpaca, 7% acrylic, and 3% viscose. Apparently everyone's been calling out for 5-ply, and this is beautiful. It has, like, it's kind of a heathered effect, and it has these brown little tweedy nips. So it knits up like this on a, what was the pattern called for? 3.75, I think. Yeah, 3.75. And I have, this is the driftwood tea. I'll just give you a big picture. I'm not sure if this is a paid for pattern or it came in something or other. Just do it like that. So this is the driftwood tea, and it's done flat, which I'm like, oh. But I do have to do it according to the pattern, so purling. But it has this beautiful, I don't know if you can see it, you can't really see it there. It's got a really nice little lace detail on the bottom edge. I don't know, you're gonna have to like look this up if you really want to have a little, this picture's way too small. But I don't know if you can see there's a little lace detail over there. Really pretty. So very simple, you just front and the back, increase for the shoulders, and then you just whip it all together. Which is exciting because I need to learn the mattress stitch because it sounds like super fun. So yes, I'm gonna do this before I'm gonna cast it on and get it going before I cast on my featherweight and my Madewell and my Risen and all the other cardigans I want to do that I have the yarn for. Because, you know, it's kind of like this is like a deadline-y. Well, not really deadline-y. She's very flexible, but it's so like, it's nice. I like the fabric that I'm getting from this. I haven't checked the gauge on it or anything. I've just literally done the gauge swatch and then I went away for the weekend. So I'm excited about that. Someone just gave me yarn and be like, knit this. I'll pay you in yarn. I was like, yes. No problem. No problemo. Mission accepted. That's what. Mission accomplished is when it's done. So that's just gauge. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about gauge swatches. So, like I said, I do lots of gauge swatches. Especially because I'm a new garment knitter. I don't want to get it wrong, especially like the first garment I ever made was my flax, my adapted flax with the cables down the on either side of the cables in the middle of the raglan decreases. So I've got all these swatches, okay? I do swatch. Sorry, Sue, I lied. So these ones are from my first flax sweater, and I did lots of different needle sizes, which are like 3, 4, and 5, and 6. And the 6 is actually over there, kind of around a jar, which is where I keep all of my like waste yarn and stuff. And this one's pretty. I did a little cable. That's the first one I did before I realized that you had to do them in the round if you're going to be knitting in the round. So I've got all of these, and then I did a little swatch to check my gauge on sock yarn, and I did these for James's socks, which are down here. Probably super disgusting, but anyway, so these are James's socks, which are well and truly stretched out now. So, and then I've got my Juni cardigan swatch, and I've got this beautiful swatch that I did for the Sweater Spotters class, which is just so gorgeous, and I want to use these, you know. So I was thinking about steeking the round ones and laying them out flat, and then just joining them together is kind of like a cozy memory garment sweater. And I like it, like this one might go along the side of something, you know, like or something like that, or along the side of something, you know, just to kind of match them up a little bit, and just to have a record really, because otherwise you just have a pile of stuff. So I'd like to make something that's useful. And they're just too pretty to throw away. So yeah, that's an idea that I'm having. What do you do with your swatches? What do you do with your swatches, people? If you swatch at all. So, just mentioning the Sweater Spotters class, I haven't gone any farther on my colour work, winging it from the top down colour work cardigan, because I've been trying to finish everything else. And I've also been thinking about, you know, casting on the featherweight, but I feel like I need to devote some time to think about what I really want to do. So with this one, I really want to start planning which type of colours I want to be using, you know, with the colour work, because so pretty. But I've been watching Tina on Instagram and seeing her sweater progress, and it is just beautiful. So, and she's just kind of making it up as she goes along, which I find works really well. I mean, she's ripped out 1 or 2 things that she thinks, no, it didn't quite work. And yeah, so I just need to get the finger out really and start doing that properly, because it's just a little bit intimidating. But I better do it now before I forget what Anna has told us about, like the short row shaping, about increasing, about, you know, how long everything has to be. I still have the extremely detailed notes that she gave us. I just need to do it. But now that I've got my 2 big garments off the needles, I have this one started, so I really should do it. I need more time in the day, because I have also started spinning. And in here I'm going to put in a video of the wool shop that we went to, Jocelyn and I. So Jocelyn lives about 7 hours away from me, up north in Weewall, and she's also going to be starting a podcast called the Dancing Cat Podcast, and I'm really excited about that. Oh, she's also, I've got to show you this. She's also dyeing. She's also starting a dyeing business, and I've got to show you this incredible skein of yarn that she gave me. It's so beautiful. I cannot remember the name of it. Sorry, Jocelyn, if you let me know. And it's just, oh, look at this. Look at this green. It's way more intense in person. Kind of. Oh, it's just super intense, these colors. I love them. And then she's got these like little blues, little gentle blues in here. I feel so honored to be using this. And I really want to knit a hat, a handbrake hat, I think. Not handbrake hat, it's a handbrake cowl. Maybe a handbrake cowl. That would look, oh my gosh. That's what this needs to be, I think. Oh yes. I mean, this would be fine too, but this is so much better. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna just insert a little video of this amazing shop that we went to meet up. So we met up halfway in Rylstone, which is where Convent and Chapel Wool Shop is based. And they have an incredible online store. They stock everything. Mainly hedgehog fibers, but they also stock like opal yarns. Oh, so many things. I just loved going there. It's set in the historic Bridgeview Inn. Convent and Chapel Wool Shop provides unique, memorable experience for knitters and crocheters. Premium artisan yarns to the discerning knitter. That's me now. We stock top quality exclusive brands, so sourced locally and internationally. Shop is a beautiful knitting accessory, so they're higher importer as well, which is incredible. Spinners are catered for because they're an Ashford distributor as well, which is my wheel. Oh, it's so good. It is in Aladdin's cave. So beautiful. If you ever get the chance, it's like a destination to go there, and there's just some incredible restaurants around there as well. We went next door and had really, really beautiful yum cha, which is really strange to find in the middle of the Australian kind of outback. Not really outback, the Australian kind of middle farming country. So I'm going to put in a few videos of our little trip up there, and I bought a lot of things, but I'll just pop in the video, a couple of videos actually, and the beautiful place that we stayed, really nice place that we camped as well. So this is my amazing wheel. This is Rosie, who I believe it's called an Ashford Traveller. Marsha from the Fairy Little podcast informed me that it is an Ashford, and this is some fibre that I bought recently, and I've just been spinning it up, and I'm in love with it. It's a double treble, and I've been discovering everything about it. I've been learning so fast recently, but I'm going to show you what I've been spinning on it. So the first thing I spun was some small little bats that Jocelyn included in with the spinning wheel. Oh, Jocelyn, thank you so much. I'm having so much fun with Rosie. So this is the first yarn that I spun up. I spun up lots of little batlings and then plied them together. So they were all kind of different shades of purple. So they all barber pulled, which I love. And look at the thick and thin. So cute. So I decided, I'm not sure, like, because I wasn't sure what to do with all of these practice bits, you know, like your first hand spun is a bit crap. Precious, but a bit crap. So I decided to do a Cozy Memories hand spun, and this is the first one that I did. So you can see the bottom section. Yeah, I think I started too big, but I can always do small little ones and then add on or whatever. It all matches up in the end, I'm sure. I'm not going to be so precious. Sometimes I think I'm a little bit too, everything has to be even and everything has to be nice and everything has to be perfect. And I don't know why I'm not like that with my garments, because I can never follow patterns or anything like that. But I don't know. I'm selectively perfectionist. So, and I found this, which is my other one. And this is like my first Cozy Memories one that actually worked out. I was having a lot of trouble figuring it out. And I don't know why I stopped. I think I just stopped because I was fed up, and it took me ages to get to this really nice one. And I was like, oh, it's so much work. But now I know how to do it, so it's not a problem. And this, however, it looks like a mess because of the yarn. It's thick and thin, but it's hand spun, so it's supposed to. So the next one I'm going to add in is this incredible colour, which I'm calling Spookatime. So I mixed up the greens and the purples with that one, because I had a little bit more purple than green. And then I decided just to whip up, because it's so quick now. So I've been spinning on my spindle, on my handheld spindle, for a while before I got this. And that was using up the merino that a friend got me, Henry's merino. So this is the original Henry colorway. This is the Henry series of yarn. This is the first. So It was all spun on a spindle and then plied on a spinning wheel. And just so squishy. Ooh. So this is about 73 grams and it varies from everything to everything. My friend suggested that I give him back enough to like knit a brim of a hat or something because she knows how much work goes into it. What does he do? Only he goes off and brings back 2 more bags of fleece, which is like 2 whole extra fleeces. I've only got through like 200 grams of this stuff. I have so much left. I don't know what I'm going to do. But so he gave me incredible silver and black. I'll show you those. Right. Ooh, stop falling. So I'll show you what it looks like raw. I say raw, it's actually, this has been washed. It doesn't look like it, but it's not greasy or smelly anymore. Ha ha ha. Okay, Mum, it's not greasy or smelly, I promise. Nope. Not finished. It's just James. It's not Jehovah's Witnesses. So it's actually good timing, James, because this is my second spin of Henry's original. And this is done completely on the wheel, so it's much finer. And I'm gonna say a little bit more consistent, but not much. But it is just like silky smooth. Look at the shine off it. Huh. So this is a merino, 18 micron merino. And I've used up all of those Rolex that I used with that. But this is, so I was just showing you the original wool, wasn't I? So this is the grey, and it's still got quite a lot of brown, kind of beigey tan at the ends, which actually blends in really nicely. So, and then I'm loving this. So I'll show you what that makes. This makes this and this and this. So lots of different shades. Oh, it's so nice. It's so fluffy. I think this is a slightly thicker micron density. Hello, James. Wave, James. This is the first episode of Living with a Knitter. James, how do you feel about it?
I'm being sent outside of the cold.
Living with a knitter. Get kicked out of your own house while podcasting happens. Love you, bye. So mean. Anyway, back to the important things. So, I've done a little bit of experimenting then. Oh, that's another grey. I would love to make enough of this and get good enough to make a cardigan out of this colour. I have yet to spin it. Oh, so beautiful. So I've got a huge giant bag at my friend's house. I've actually asked her to keep it because I have no more room in this little apartment to carry any more fleece. I've got to use the rest of the stuff. So then there's Black Henry. So that's Grey Henry, or Salt and Pepper. No, this is Grey Henry. This is Black Henry. Ooh, gosh. Everything sticks to it. So it's more like a brown, like a chocolatey brown. Because at the ends of the wool, the sun damage, really, sun damage, wind damage, nature damage. So it turns into this kind of chocolate instead of a black. So that's nice. So they roll up into these bad boys, which are kind of, yeah, okay, so this is Chocolate Henry. Chocolate Henry. So much vegetable matter all over that shop. I'm not even bothered by it. And then I did a bit of blending. So this is Salt and Pepper Henry. How gorgeous is this grey? Like, so these colours, just imagine doing a colourwork sweater in these colours. I'm just overwhelmed by all of the stuff that I have. Now, issue is I have too much. Does anyone want some? Does anyone want some either unwashed, or I could wash it for you, but I think I probably would have to charge you if you wanted me to card it too. Now, I'm not a great carder, but it takes so much time. So if anybody wants some original Australian merino fleece, I would just probably ask for the postage, really. Like 100 grams, I'll pop it into a little envelope. It'll probably cost you about $5 to $10. Would anybody like some? I have too much. I'm not going to be able to use it all. Private message me if you want some. I will give you some. You can wash it if you like, but I can't really do any more than that. But if you're a spinner, if you enjoy spinning, if you have like carding machines or anything like that, I can sell it by whatever, you know. Sell it as in like just pay for postage, because postage is actually really expensive in Australia. So yeah, say $10 per 100 grams just for postage. But I'll see how it goes. Contact me if you're really interested, and I will figure that out. This is a suggestion from my friend Kerry. She was like, you'll never do all of this. There is literally like £5 in each bag. So much. Too much. So, but I am really loving it. It's so fluffy and bouncy. Bouncy. Oh, sorry, it's a bit disco lights there. So, what else am I going to talk about? Right, let's concentrate now. So that's what I've been doing with my spinning and yarning and all of that. I'll put these away. So yes, I bought a couple of little things at another festival that I went to, and I'm going to pop in a little video of the yarn festival that was organised by the Australian Hand Spinners group. Knitting Guild. And I'm going to pop that in here.
Yeah, I've got to look for one. Being a victim is Christmas. All of the artists do my Oh, yes. It's very
Hello. I'm good. So I've got a little podcast, just a knitting podcast. So I'm just doing a little filming for that. Is that all right? Yeah. What's your business called?
Mulberry and Flax.
Mulberry and Flax. Gorgeous. Nurturing fibres. Oh my gosh. I've heard a lot about that. Absolutely gorgeous. Here we go. Nurturing fibres. Fabulous. Thank you very much. Just having a little walk around, show people who can't come.
This place is fantastic when it's got all this stuff in it. But when if you just walked around it when it was all bare and just statues and pictures and so on. with a lot of bits and pieces before this really sort of started to.
I did this morning before
This is where you can spin up the yarn you just bought. So cute. And more. This is the outside. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. Oh, the raffle is happening. This is where all of us are sitting. Say hi, Tina! Hi! Hi, everybody! Give us a wave! Hi! You're all going to be on my podcast, so here we go.
So, turns out fibre is a lot cheaper than yarn. So, I didn't buy any yarn, which is good because last week I bought a lot of yarn from the Convent and Chapel place. Convent and Chapel wool shop. So I bought a lot of pet shop fibres that I'm going to make a Madewell out of, but I'll show you that when I'm making it because, yeah. So the first shop I want to mention is Felt Fine. So it's feltfine.com.au, and Gary is the lad's name. Gary, and that's his phone number. Really nice lad, so lovely, and he's a very good salesman, and I'm very annoyed. But I just could not leave these behind me. Look at these beautiful colors. So this was $24.50, and the amount of yarn in these are super dense, like super dense. They're about 27 grams each, so 25 grams each. And yes, so many pretty colors. So I'm going to spin up most of them and either apply them on each other or themselves. I'm going to do a lot of learning on these, and these are some other beautiful autumn colors. Sorry for the crinkling. Beautiful autumn colors. Oh, I'm on the greens at the moment, and they're going to be for my cozy handspun, handspun, handspun. La 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 la. And then I also saw in a big bag of this really, really beautiful soft red. It's recycled sari silk, and it was like $8 for 100 grams. I was like, can I have it? And apparently it spins up beautifully, but just look at this color. And it's got these like very fine kind of so it's recycled saris, you know, the Indian dresses, the Indian traditional dress, and it's got lots of little blips of other like really saturated colors, but mostly red. And then there's fibre everywhere now. And then I saw this. Oh my God, apparently he's only sold about 300 grams in like the 3 years that it's been online, but every time that he goes somewhere and people touch it, it just goes like that. So I bought 100 grams of this as well. This is the silkiest. There is silk in it. There's merino, there's camel, there's alpaca, and silk, and it is the softest thing. And I just spun a little bit on my spindle when I was out there, just to test it up, you know, just like you do. You know what I mean? And it just makes this really beautiful color, like a grey brown, a ground. And it is, I think I'm just in love with this striping, you know, of all the different colors coming through. So I'm really excited about that. I have no idea what it's going to make. I'm just going to spin it up and see what it does. So I went a bit fibre mad, just a little bit mad. I also bought some alpaca from Adagio Alpaca Mills, special alpaca mills. and they apparently are going to be coming to the Australian Knitters and Spinners group, but I think next year, so I think I'll be gone by then. But yeah, get it. So this is roving, I believe. Maybe a giant long bat. So this is Chocolate Indulgence. And the thing about alpaca is that there's so many different types of colors. I don't think I'm going to take it out, but I don't know if you can see, but it looks like caramel. It looks like chocolate caramel swirl. Maybe I should take it out. And I was just in love with this color, and also it was on sale, so I was like, I'll have it now, please. Oh my god, it's so soft. Ooh, look at it. It looks like my hair. Same color as my hair. Same thing. I had to have it. Look how beautiful it is. It's so soft. This isn't like, when you put it against you, it just feels like so soft. It doesn't feel like alpaca normally does. Maybe when it's spun, it feels scratchy. I learned so much. Did you know alpaca doesn't have as much grease as merino? Doesn't have any grease, apparently. How weird is that? So I learned that from Marilyn Alpaca, which is these guys. They have their own alpaca. They have about 600 alpaca, and each of them is named. And when you buy the wool, it's all natural. They don't do any dyeing. So it has apparently over 20 natural colors: soft, warm and lustrous, luxurious drape, natural fiber and gentle to the environment. I don't know how they can say that, but I'm interested in learning about that. Each animal is an individual with its own fleece style, color and handle. The yarn style to be made is chosen to match the particular alpaca. Each fleece is packaged separately and posted to the mini mill, which then processes each fleece separately. The individuality of the alpaca's fiber is preserved and is reflected in our yarns. That's why each of our alpacas has their own name on their yarn. How cute is that? It's like instead of a dye lot, they have their own name. Adorable! So yes, they are in Thornley in New South Wales in Australia, which is somewhere, I don't know. So if you really want to, oh look at this little picture at the bottom. It's an alpaca just plays like rolling around. Apparently alpacas are filthy. So their fleeces are often really, really dirty, so you've got to really clean them. But that means they've had a fun life rolling around in nature. So I was really interested in those. And then also this incredible shop I need to talk to you about. I didn't buy anything from her because I have enough yarn at the moment, but I really wanted to mention her. So it's Katrina, who is Pirate Pearl Yarns. So this is her shtick, Pirate Pearl Yarns, and she uses, this is her, she's so cool and awesome and nice. It's very, very sweet girl. So it's made with ethically grown fibre from Australian farms in Tasmania and Victoria. She uses white gum wool, which is so beautiful and soft. It's from Tasmania in Tasmania's Midland and Tarrandwarcourt in Bigura. I don't know where that is. Due to lack of milling options in Australia, both suppliers use wool mills in New Zealand, so it's not that far away really. So she has her dye base and her studio in Newcastle, which is just about 2 hours north from Sydney, and she works with 3 dye pots, 1 heating element and a big sunny window, which means they're all solar dried in the Aussie sun. Actually, I must put that back out in the sun. It's not completely dry yet. So I really, if I do feel the urge to buy more yarn, I will be definitely looking up her Etsy shop, which is Pirate Pearl Yarns on Etsy.com. Pirate Pearl Yarns, Etsy.com. Look her up. She does these incredible kits. She mostly does like tonals. I found like lots of tonals and kits and really beautiful solid colors as well. Gorgeous. And the Adagio Mills, which is the this luscious thing. That is, they have a shop at shop@adagiomills.com.au. So I just wanted to mention all of these lovely people because they did such a great job at the festival, and we all had such a great time, and it was wonderful. And I want to thank the Knitters Guild so much for putting on that really, really amazing festival. It was awesome. So it's October. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Have you had your mammogram? Have you? That's what I do. I'm a mammographer. I see people every day and I do the mammograms. And then I send off the images to the doctors, and then they screen them, and then they get sent the results sent back out to them in about 2 weeks' time. I have had some women who've shown up because of Breast Cancer Awareness Week who have had significant lumps and that they were in denial. They did not think that it was a problem. A lot of people don't show up for mammograms because they're scared. They don't want to know. They're scared of the pain. They don't want to know about it. And that's basically the two reasons why people don't show up. Most of the time in most countries, in most Western countries, breast screening is free. And that's because the government wants to keep women in work. The government wants to keep women working, paying taxes. It's like a small investment, really, to keep all those tax dollars coming in. So it's normally free. The current guidelines are to have a mammogram every 2 years from the ages of 50 to 74. That's when we send out reminders to you in the post to come in and get one done. However, you can also get it done from the age of 40 upwards. The younger you go with mammograms, the less effective they are, because breast tissue is quite dense when you're younger, and x-rays take a lot more to get through, and it's more difficult to see. It's also a larger dose of x-rays, and when you're younger, if you have more x-rays, that stays in your body, you know. Whereas as you get older, your breast tissue gets less dense, it turns into fatty tissue, and it takes less x-rays to get through. And also, unfortunately, you have less time for it to build up in your body to cause a further cancer about 50 years down the line. You know, that would be when you're around 110, which I don't think you're going to be worried about a tiny cancer developing at 110 years old. So I wouldn't be anyway, personally. So that's the reason why we say have a mammogram from the ages of 50 to 74. 50 to 74 are the age ranges which statistically have the most likelihood of picking up diagnosing cancer. And that's when they develop the most statistically. Now, a lot of people do say, oh, my cousin, or God forbid, you know, your mother or somebody died of breast cancer when they were in their 30s. I know my aunt did. However, cancers that develop in younger people tend to be more virulent, tend to be stronger and more aggressive, because the younger person's immune system is so much stronger than an older person's immune system. So the cancers that develop at those stages have to be stronger just by evolution. And unfortunately, they're much more difficult to get rid of, and they're very difficult to screen. Screening is what a mammogram is about. If you have one every 2 years, you're able to compare the last one to this year's, and you're able to see if there's any changes. And you're able to screen the next year and able to see if there's any changes. And you can pick up tiny little microcalcifications which can turn into cancers. Yes, cancers. A lot of people say, why can't I have an ultrasound? Isn't ultrasound better? Isn't ultrasound more effective? It's less painful. Why do I have to have this mammogram? It was invented by a man. Stop saying that. It's really annoying. Everyone says it. So an ultrasound is used to differentiate between tissues. You cannot compare one ultrasound from 1 year to an ultrasound from the next year, because they're often done by different people. The person who did you the first time, even if you get them the second time, is not going to remember you. So they might not do it the same way. Their hand might be injured. They're not going to do it the same way. It's impossible. Whereas a mammogram is a picture. And we do the same picture every single time. We get you in the same position every single time. We have to get the bottom bit. There's like there's regulations as to the picture, what the picture needs to look like. And it has to be the same all around. Otherwise you can't compare them. And that's the purpose of the mammograms. So what we tend to use ultrasound for is people with extremely dense breasts that we can't see through. If we see something on a mammogram and we're not sure what it is, we bring the patient in, or the client in, for an ultrasound as well, and a slightly different mammogram called a tomogram, where you take lots of different pictures in an angle, and you can kind of, it can make things disappear, you know, it makes things just look like there might just be two things over each other. When you take a picture of them, they look like something, but then when you take a mammogram like this, they kind of disappear, and you can see that it's nothing really important, so that's great. So that's when we use ultrasound, is to tell whether the tissue is fibrous, whether it's dense, like just fatty tissue, or whether it's a cyst, or whether it looks malignant. And if it looks malignant, we do a needle biopsy, which is a very tiny, tiny needle, pop in, pop out, and send that sample off to the lab, and then call you in a couple of days when we get the results of that. That's what we do in Australia. That's all I have a knowledge of at the moment, but I imagine that that's pretty much the same all over the world. Now, apparently there's been a lot of news, a lot of mention of dense breast tissue in the news, and that is, it's saying that ultrasound, you know, if you've got dense breasts, then you're at a higher chance of getting breast cancer. Now, there's absolutely no research to correlate this. What they mean is it's more difficult to see any cancers that do develop on a mammogram. However, the best, how do I say this? Mammogram is the gold standard, because we're able to compare them year on year and be able to tell the difference. Tell the difference. If you have dense breasts, then we also bring you in for an ultrasound. And if it's your first time ever having a mammogram, it's really common to get called in for a further imaging, because it's just to form a baseline image. So if you do go for the first time this month, because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month and you've just turned 50, I'd even, if you haven't had one and you're 45, 40, I would go get one done. I'm going to get one done when I hit 40, which is only 10 years away. So if you haven't had one ever in your life and you're curious, and I would definitely recommend go get one done. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Now, mammograms do have a little bit of pain associated with them, because you're squishing the boobs quite a lot. Now, the reason why we squish the boobs, you squish down the boobs to reduce the amount of radiation that you get exposed to. It also spreads out, so you've got lots of stuff going on. So if you squish it down, it spreads out the tissue so you can see everything so much clearer. It spreads everything out so you can see these tiny little microcalcifications that really can turn into cancers. And also, it's to stop movement, because if you're breathing, if you're like this and you're breathing, because they're attached to the chest, and we do want you to keep breathing. Sometimes people ask you to stop breathing during the mammogram for that reason as well, but if it's squished down enough, the movement is reduced. So it reduces the amount of times you have to have a mammogram if it's not compressed enough, and if you're breathing and if there's blurry, you have to take it again. So that exposes you to more radiation. So that's why we have to press down. They haven't invented a new way of doing it. Yes, I don't even know if a man invented it. If they did, thank God, because he's reduced the rates of breast cancers. Thank God. Sorry, I just, when you hear something again and again and again and again, and it's just like, I know, whatever. So, yes, what else could I talk about that? So, there's lots of different methods of imaging the breast. Mammogram is the best for screening purposes. Ultrasound is really good for telling what's in the breast. Like if you see something on a mammogram that's not the same as the last time, we'll do an ultrasound to see what it is. Then we do a biopsy just to check for the cellular, if we're worried about anything. And then also, I mean, people with extremely dense breasts who are young, who have a very high chance of getting breast cancer, such as that gene, you know, the BRCA gene that Angelina Jolie had. If you get that testing, you're 10 times more likely to have. I was talking about the BRCA gene. Anyway, what I'm saying is, if you've got a very high risk of having breast cancer, you can also have an MRI. Now, MRI involves lying down, face down in a MRI machine, and that's the one, the large tunnel. It's open either end most of the time, but it's quite tight. You go in and very tight. You listen to music. You're not allowed to have any metal in that room. And you're there for about an hour, lying on your front. So what I'm saying is, if you really need it, that's a good way to do. That's a good thing to do. I think you also have to do a lot of breath holds for the MRI, because any movement at all with the MRI is going to wreck the picture. So you'll be doing a lot of breathing exercises, and they'll be telling you what to do through earphones in your ears. What I'm saying is, mammogram is the best, quickest, easiest, cheapest option to keep track of your boobies. So that's my recommendation this week. It is check your boobs, have a mammogram if you haven't already, and talk about it. Tell everyone about it. Tell everyone. Have you had your mammogram this month? Have you had your mammogram? It's October. Have you had your mammogram? Now, one more thing I want to say. In America, the recommendations are slightly different to the UK, Ireland and Australia. They recommend having a mammogram every year from when you hit 40. I wouldn't personally, because scientific, like, the data doesn't suggest that you need that. In fact, it might increase your risk of false positives. A false positive is if you're diagnosed, or if you go in and have extra treatment that you didn't really need. Obviously, if there's somebody in your family who's had cancer, have it every year. Absolutely, that makes sense. But if you have no family history, if you don't feel anything wrong at all, every 2 years is perfectly fine. Every year from the age of you're 40, it's a lot of radiation. Like, it's a lot, and you don't necessarily need it according to the current. Oh, what's that plane doing? I thought it was a no-flight day. Sorry, you guys. I hope there wasn't many. I probably didn't listen to them at all. Sorry. But anyway, yes. So there's slightly different recommendations in each country, but the current global recommendations from the World Health Organization and the International Cancer Institute is every 2 years from when you're 50 to when you're 74. I would also recommend having 1 or 2 in your 40s as well, just to keep track. But according to the current scientific data that we have, 1 every year from when you're 40 is not advisable. Just, too much radiation is not a good thing, in general. But it's good for some things, but too much it's a really hard balance. It's a really difficult thing to balance. And a lot of people are worried about the radiation, so they want an ultrasound instead. But the ultrasound isn't effective for a screening tool. So it's really difficult to try and convince people that the way we're doing it now is the correct way. And a lot of people say, well, my grandmother is 90 and she never had breast cancer and she died of something else. And it's like, well, great. But we're talking we're playing a statistics game. That's one person. Statistically, 1 in 6 women is going to get breast cancer at a stage where, they will die from it. That's what they die from. That's not counting, all the people later in life where it's not picked up. So there you go. That's some advices from me in October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I think I might spin some pink yarn. Well, maybe that's what my purple yarn was for. Breast Cancer Awareness Month square. Whoop, 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 whoop. I think next year I'm going to do a cal. I'm going to do a Breast Cancer Awareness cal in October. That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it? Yeah, knit something pink. And you can also do like knit boobs. I think Tilly Trout was doing it. She was knitting boob shapes for women just to fill the breasts for people who've had mastectomies. That's a really nice idea too. Yes. Ah, okay. Book that in your calendar for next year. I've got a plan now in my head. I know there was a lot in this episode. I hope it's not too long. It's gonna be long. I'm not even gonna, whatever. Maybe I should have broken it up, because as of right now, Fatima, right now, I am signing on for the Knit 1000 grams challenge. I am not allowed to buy any more yarn until I knit 1000 grams of yarn that I have at the moment. Yes, I had to wait until after the Fibre Festival. And that's knit, not spin. I have to spin and knit the yarn. Okay. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna love you and leave you and check your boobs.